Hi guys, and welcome to what is the final week of the Flinch squad VGC 19 Sun Series circuit. We are here today to preview a couple of matches from week 7. It is the final week, like I've already said, and I have got a very special guest with us today. I've got one of our own competitors from the circuit. I've got Will. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi guys, I'm great, mate. How are you yourself today?
Doing really well, mate. It's honestly such a pleasure to have you on the channel, and thank you for taking time out of your day to come on and go through these review matches. Obviously one of them will be you, so just going to recap on some of the matches and the league table. I'll show the league table first for week 6. So this is how we ended up week 6. We've got Nigel and Will tying up for first place going into the last week. We've got Hectic VGC in third with 12 points, tying with Urine, and then we've got Stu as well, so 3 players tied, also, although Hectic has got that game in hand. And then we've got Johnny, Pokemarty, Jace and Pinko down at the bottom of the table. So things at the top are really heating up. I mean, Will, going into the last week, how are you feeling going into it, knowing that you had to win, and you had to win by really 2-0 to make sure that you probably got that trophy?
I was very nervous and very cautious to make the right call with my team as well, because I knew that everyone had seen the Palkia team by this point, and I just wanted to play something a little bit different, just to shake things up, and something that would have a good matchup versus what I'd seen Marty using before. So
we've got the league table from week 6. We went through that already, but I think the next thing we want to take a quick look at is the matchups for week 6. So these are big matchups. Obviously it's the last week, so all the points here for the players count and mean they go towards prizing, potentially winning the event, and all those Flinch squad circuit points that you need to gather for that 200 bar to get that invite to the Invitational at the end of the season, which I will reiterate again for you guys at home, will be a live stream event, will be on Twitch, will be a knockout event, we'll have guest commentators, we'll have loads of stuff going on during that event, and before we crown our Flinch squad circuit VGC 2019 champion, so that'll be a lot of fun. But before then, we've got to get into this week where we want to crown our Sun Series champion, and we can only do that by getting through these next few matches. So as you can see on the screen, this week we've got Johnny, he's gone up against Wormseye, we've got Urine, he's gone up against Jaceface, we've got Pokemarty versus Will, we've got Stu versus Hectic, you've got Jace against Pinko, and Johnny versus Hectic. So a couple of double matches in here just to make up for the odd numbers that we've had in the tournament, but nevertheless it's more the better. But because of the length of the episode, I'm only going to feature 2 matches this week, and they are the 2 matches that count the most. They are going to be Will's game and Wormseye's game, so Nigel's game. So they're the 2 games that we're going to feature here. So they're the matchups for you guys. I'm just going to pull up the screen, and you can see I'm sharing this with Will as well. So first match we're going to feature going into this week is going to be Wormseye versus Johnny. Without further ado, my friend, do you think we should just jump into it?
I think so, mate.
Excellent. Okay, I've cut up the video a bit, but the matches are in full length. I've just cut down little sections, so it's a little bit smoother going in, and the transitions are a bit better. But we are going to see Johnny lead off with that Serena and Dialga here, as Nigel leads off with his Ludicolo and Kyogre. Kyogre going to throw up that rain to the field for the next 5 turns. Ludicolo, obviously with its swift swim ability, going to be able to take advantage of that. If there's any point in this video, Will, that you want me to pause and you want to talk about anything, just shout up and we can pause and we can have a chat through everything. But we're seeing no fake out here from Nigel turn 1, just going straight for that Ice Beam into this arena, just identifying that is a big threat, and the Kyogre following up with a Water Spout as well, revealing a Life Orb on the Ludicolo. It's not enough, unfortunately, to take that Serena out, but it's not opting to go for a grass type attack, and just going to knock off the Ludicolo instead, as the Dialga now sets that Trick Room up. But Kyogre gets through this turn pretty unscathed, so that's fine really for Nigel, I would imagine.
I just wanted to say I'm surprised at how little the Serena took from that Ice Beam and Water Spout combination.
Yeah.
Maybe it's holding the Assault Vest, which is an interesting item, because for me personally, I'd like to run helping hand on Serena.
Yeah, especially with the Kyogre in the team as well. It's such a big damage output with that helping hand boost to it. In this situation, you can see why it's so useful, because otherwise that Serena without the Assault Vest goes down to that double combination. So you can totally see Nigel's logic there of just wanting to get rid of it because it's such a threat to the Kyogre. And like he's already mentioned, he doesn't mind the Trick Room going up, so being able to get rid of that one Pokemon. And of course I said no Fake Out, but we can't Fake Out because of the Queenly Majesty ability, so I'm just backtracking a little bit here. But yeah, definitely Assault Vest, but I do agree with you, Will, that you do miss the Helping Hand. I think it's a big move that you can have access to on the Serena here. Well, we're going into turn 2 anyway. We'll see Nigel, he is going to retreat that Ludicolo, keep it around for later, and bring in that Lurantis, so going to take advantage of that Trick Room as soon as he can. We are going to see a high jump kick come out from the Serena. Opting not for a grass type attack again, maybe thinking the Kyogre is going to switch out there. And seeing a high jump kick and a earth power and another water spout coming out from the Kyogre. Because of its low health, not really going to be able to do very much damage, but Nigel's still in a really nice position now with that Lurantis threatening Dialga and a KO onto that Serena now. We are going to see Nigel switch out Kyogre. We're going to keep it for later as we see the Dustman Necrozma come in. We're going to see Super Power go into that Serena, get rid of that going into this turn, as the Dialga is now left with a free turn. So I wonder if it does throw out another Earth Power. It's not opting for that from Johnny. It is going to be a Flash Cannon into the Lurantis, just identifying that as a big threat and wanting to get some damage on that as soon as possible, really, as we see him bring in the Kyogre now. Is there anything you want to recap on over these last few turns? Well,
the Lurantis is absolutely huge for Nigel here because it threatens everything on Johnny's side of the field. He didn't need to knock out the Serena. He just needed it to be brought down into range so his Lurantis could come in and clean up Johnny's side of the field, really.
Because now it's in a position where it just picks whichever slot it wants. I probably tend to go more towards a Dialga, thinking the Kyogre probably protects. If I was confident with the build of Lurantis, I'd always just target down the Dialga.
Specs could save Johnny on Kyogre if it was targeting the Dialga with superpower.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could see happening, but it looks like the game's pretty much wrapped up in Nigel's favour here.
Yeah. Let's get back into it. So we're going to see Johnny straight away withdraw that Kyogre, which is very interesting. He doesn't want to keep it on the field, taking that grass type attack, potentially coming out from the Lurantis, but bringing the Incineroar in, activating the Intimidate ability onto both the Lurantis and the Dustman Necrozma, but unfortunately boosting that Lurantis' attack instead of lowering it like we mentioned earlier. Grass Leaf Blade into the Incineroar, not doing too much damage there. It is resisted, but still doing a respectable amount because that +2 it's got there, and another Flash Cannon into the Lurantis. But there we go, it is going to proc that 50% berry on the Lurantis. It's going to get all of its health back. So we've got to worry about the Fake Out from the Incineroar, which can come out and slow down that Lurantis and stall out these Trick Room turns. But now seeing the Dustman just switch out, resetting those Intimidate drops, Kyogre coming back onto the field, and we are going to see Dialga actually reveal Protect, which is big information for Nigel going into game 2 and for the rest of this game. Is just a Flare Blitz coming straight out into that Lurantis, not wanting to mess around with Fake Out or anything like that as the dimensions turn back to normal. But with that Kyogre out now, Nigel's reading the game really well and making sure that he's not letting up with any of that momentum that he's kind of built up early in this game, able to take out the Incineroar, the one threat to that Lurantis. Now the Trick Room's ended as a Flash Cannon. We've seen it's not enough to take out this Lurantis. We need a critical hit there, but a Super Power now going to be enough to clean up this Dialga, and only the Kyogre left on Johnny's side of the field, which makes it very difficult against 4 Pokemon to come back from. How do you feel about this, how this game's gone? Is it just a Lurantis show, Will, do you think?
I'm just really impressed with the way Nigel's positioned himself. He was never in a position where he was getting outsped. He was never taking any risks because he knew the fact that the Kyogre was the only thing that could potentially take out his Lurantis.
Yeah.
So he targeted it down. He didn't need to make a read there. I'm really impressed, actually.
Yeah, he's done super well, and we see the forfeit there from Johnny as we got into game 2. So Nigel taking an early lead here, which isn't good news for yourself, my friend, but we...
No, I would have...
no, going 1-0 up is perfect start for Nigel going into this next game, so he just needs to close it out here. We're going to see the same lead from him. Ludicolo Kyogre worked so well for him in game 1. We're going to see the Dialga and a bit of a change up here for Johnny with that Crobat coming out with the Dialga here. So 2 options of speed control here, and I do know from speaking with Nigel and Johnny that Johnny just took a bit too long on thinking through this first turn and timed out, unfortunately. So the Crobat, I think, was initially going to switch out for Johnny, and the Trick Room going to go off with the Dialga, but unfortunately because of that timeout, it's really made the game very, very difficult for Johnny to get any momentum coming forward. We are going to see the Incineroar now come in for him, but he needs to get this Trick Room up. This is a big turn from, you know, the Ludicolo with the Life Orb. He can only fake out one target. And sorry, I cut you off there. What were you going to say, my friend?
He can get the fake out off and the Trick Room up, but there's still the threat of the Lurantis coming in the back. Yeah.
That is always the problem, isn't it? You fake out the Ludicolo, and then you take the Kyogre Water Spout. This is why this lead's so devastating. But again, we see that the one way for Johnny to try and build some momentum is that Trick Room that he's got there. He's likely got the Kyogre, which we see coming to the field now. Against the Kyogre and the Ludicolo, you've not really got the best of options to kind of tackle these two. We're going to see a Flash Cannon into that Ludi. It's just resisted, so it's not going to do very much damage at all. And a Water Spout from the opposing Kyogre on Johnny's side, but again,
I don't think this will take it out now.
Yeah, no way. And Nigel locked into that Water Spout, going to throw another Water Spout. I'll do a bit of chip damage. It's always nice, as the Ludicolo are going to throw out a Grass Knot into the Kyogre here, and it will be doing big damage. Yeah, so close to picking up the knockout there. But as we see from that just one mistake from game 1, it just made it nearly impossible for Johnny to kind of come back in that game, which was really unfortunate. And you can see how important it is, especially in such a high pressure environment with these restricted Pokemon. One mistake can really just cost you like that, which was really unfortunate for Johnny. But Nigel tying up that set 2-0, which is massive for him. So going into the next matches that we're going to be playing, obviously your game, it means that you need to win 2-0 to take the title, because the tie, if it is tied on points and it is tied on win difference, it will go down to the next decider is going to be the games that you guys played against each other earlier in the series, and will you actually win that game. So there is a lot of pressure on, but at this point you don't know the result from Nigel, and Nigel doesn't know the result from your game, so you just have to do whatever you can.
Win and pray.
Yeah, win and pray, that is it. But we're going up into your match now, my friend. We can see that you've changed things up here, bring into this game the Lunala, the Tapu Koko, Kyogre and the Cortana against Marty, who has consistently brought that Solgaleo and played it so well throughout this tournament. It's been really nice seeing him do that. He's made some adjustments. He's got a Mandibuzz in there, the Tapu Lele, the Incineroar as well. So how are you feeling going into this one? I'm just going to let it play, and I'll let you, for the majority, just talk us through these games.
I was very nervous on turn 1 because my Lunala was supposed to have Tailwind and it didn't. It had a different move instead.
The nightmare.
But I couldn't match Tailwinds with Marty, but with the Electric Seed boost, I was able to take a lot more foul plays from the Mandibuzz. Yeah. And the Tapu Lele being scarfed actually helps me out a lot here, because I get my terrain up against the Mandibuzz.
Yeah, it's a nice indicator having your Tapu Koko there, just to make sure that you can really indicate that that is a Scarf Tapu Lele and play appropriately around that, because otherwise it could maybe catch you off with a potential attack into your Lunala, break that Shadow Shield, and then a foul play, and then it would make things very difficult. We're just going to see the Incineroar come in, the Mandibuzz protect here, so a pretty passive turn here from Marty as a Moongeist Beam goes into that Incineroar. I'm always surprised at the damage Moongeist Beam does to Incineroar. It still does good. Like,
it's respectable.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not bad, is it?
It's not, but I did want to put up Tailwind here, but I couldn't. I didn't feel like he was going to go for Tailwind, or he was going to fake out my Tapu Koko here, because of the fact I could just taunt. I'd shown taunt on the previous turn. Didn't want to lose the speed control against Marty, but luckily enough he didn't go for the Tailwind. And he just foul plays for no damage really with the seed boost.
Yeah, hardly, like no damage at all. And I think now it's coming in really like quite important. Just that chip that you've got onto the Incineroar there probably, well, it didn't really matter too much because the water spout regardless would have picked up the kill, but the chip there is always nice onto the Mandibuzz as well, because if you Moongeist Beam into this slot again, you're taking it down to about 50%, and even if you take a foul play from it into Kyogre, it's probably in range for the double up the next turn, so it makes sure that you can kind of pick up the knockout. But we are going to see a Tailwind. Unfortunately you don't have it though, but I like the way that you're not wasting that seed boost after discovering that about the Lunala, and you're just keeping it on the field and just getting damage off that you need to get off.
Well, even if I know I haven't got Tailwind, Marty doesn't know that at this point. And seed Lunalas very often carry Tailwind. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one without it, to be honest. I would have been so annoyed at myself if I come into this game. It's typical something I would do as well. Come into the game and be like, oh, where's Tailwind? Oh no. But to come through and not let it phase you like you're doing so far, you're doing so well here. Actually picking up the knockout onto the Tapu Lele here is pretty huge, and then the Solgaleo coming in with the Mandibuzz now, and you've still got all 4 Pokemon just really controlling the match super well. Massive props to yourself, but like you say, it's the mind games there. You reveal the taunt turn 1 into the Protect on the Mandibuzz, so Marty instinctively doesn't want to go for that Tailwind turn 2 because, you know, I don't want to waste the turn. And then he's obviously the whole time thinking that you're going to throw up the Tailwind, but he still doesn't know that you don't have it. And because I think you take that game quite comfortably, he's still probably in the back of his mind thinking, well, Lunala's obviously still got that Tailwind, so it's kind of forcing him into a position where he's at least going to have to expend 1 turn throwing that Tailwind up.
Exactly.
So we'll get into game 2. You're 1-0 up, so very close to that trophy, my friend. Can we do it? Any slip-ups here though, and it's all gone pear-shaped.
It's all gone, yeah.
So it's very exciting. We're going to see the Xerneas and the Incineroar come out for Marty here. So another mod to his team that is very, very nice outside of that Solgaleo Mandibuzz lead that we saw earlier. So we're going to see the rain setup from Kyogre. Intimidate come on to both your attackers. What was your thought process going into this turn?
Well, he didn't know that my... Actually, he did. Don't be silly. I thought he has to fake out Coco in terms of I can just taunt the Xerneas. But he didn't fake out at all. He just went for the Dazzling Gleam, which I was fine with as well, because bringing in a Moongus there is a very risk-free play on my end. Yeah. Because if he does go for it, I can clear Smog on the next turn. If he doesn't go for it, I'm still in a fine position, really. Yeah. The Gastrodon, on the other hand, was something that threw a huge wrench in the plans. Yeah.
It's a strange Pokemon that hasn't been used at all, really, this format, but one that's so good against Kyogre in particular, and taking advantage of those spread water type attacks that it can just constantly launch out. But yeah, like you say, making all the right moves, bringing in the moves in front of that Xerneas, but it's just, and even going into the next turn when it's attacking here, you know, because of that clear Smog threat, it doesn't want to set up that Geomancy. It just doesn't want to waste those boosts, so maybe saving it for later on. So you see clear Smog into the Gastrodon, do a little bit of chip damage there.
I just had to get rid of that special attack boost.
Yeah, that's true. It's a nice play as well, because the thing is, if you let Gastrodon get out of control and it gets a couple of those boosts, it's starting to hit like seriously hard and put dents in your team. So just making sure, even though that move seemed really ineffective, it's doing a lot at the same time, because the rain is still up. If it's got Scald, it's going to be hitting like stuff for big damage, as we see a Geomancy here come out from the Xerneas now, fearlessly launching it in front of the what was the Amoonguss, but now you've got Tapu Koko in, and we're going to see a Moongeist Beam from the Lunala now. Where is it going to be? Into the Gastrodon maybe? Imagine, yeah, into that.
Of course.
Yeah, and do some nice damage as well, as we see an Earth Power come out. Into the Tapu Koko though, going to catch it. Oh, but you hang on. The EVs. The EVs.
The 4252.
Very nice that you survived that, though. We're going to see a Y guard now, which you reveal. Which again deters any sort of dazzling gleam the next turn as we see a thunder into the Xerneas there, and it makes sense that a dazzling gleam would come out this turn as we see an earth power into the Lunala, but not doing too much damage because of that bulk that you've got there. The rain does disappear now, as well as that electric terrain, which does open the door if your Tapu Koko goes down for the Amoonguss to come in and start putting things to sleep, which is quite nice. As we see Moonblast come out from the Xerneas, it does pick up the knockout onto the Lunala here as we see a Volt Switch from the Koko, going to retreat and save itself for a little bit later on in this match. And how are you feeling now, knowing that the Xerneas was boosted up and is kind of in a position to start cutting through your team a little bit?
I'm not scared of it.
No? Not
at all. I've got the Amoonguss. Yeah. I'm not afraid of these two at all.
Yeah? I was worrying you a little bit at this point. Are you just totally feeling comfortable at this point in time?
I felt I could get rid of it eventually. Yeah. It's not particularly threatening Amoonguss, and I have Ice Beam on Kyogre.
Yeah. You make a really nice play here.
Was an interesting call.
Yeah, you make a big call there because the Xerneas protecting there is, you know, if it doesn't happen, then like the double into the Gastrodon, such a big call. None of that Xerneas is so threatened by the clear smog, and just getting rid of, like, taking potentially the Gastrodon out of the game now. And now you've got the opportunity where the Xerneas cannot protect. It has to go for the Dazzle, and you get the clear smog off onto it.
I felt like this play that I'm making this turn was one he didn't want to risk the last turn.
Yeah.
Me protecting Kyogre and clear smogging his Xerneas.
Yeah. I think
that's why I went for the play I did.
I can't reiterate how good a turn this is. Honestly, this is for you guys at home. This is like such a good example, and this mentality as well of not being afraid of a boosted Xerneas as well. Having that attitude of, no, I've got ways to deal with it. I know what I need to do. I know what my opponent's scared of. I know exactly my game plan to get around this situation. It's not game over yet, and you can see how you've done it here, and I have to take my hat off to you. If I was wearing a hat, I would take it off, but like honestly, I think for these sort of players, and you've made them throughout the tournament, you deserve to win, honestly, my friend. We see the now you've got rid of those boosts with the clear smog. Incineroar's coming in, and yeah, Xerneas does wake up, protects, but I mean at this point it's going to be very difficult for Marty to close out. The Xerneas has done a good job, but you've done a really good job of being able to shut it down and just kind of give everyone a really good example of how you can get around it and not get panicked or misplay, and just take it one step at a time to make sure that you're getting that position that you want. We're going to see a U-turn come out from the Incineroar. It's just going to be into the Amoonguss there, do a nice bit of chip damage, take you down below 50%, but you've got to be feeling confident going into these last few turns.
Yeah, absolutely. He can't switch Lele in here. That's just not a play you can make, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was risky on so many levels, but then again, he didn't have many options at this point.
No, that's it. I think options limited. I think if you get the Lele in here, then you can potentially pressure the KO onto the Amoonguss, which makes you have to adjust a little bit, and then maybe push for that Geomancy boost again, or just try and focus down on the Kyogre. But at the same time, with the Amoonguss out next to you, I don't really know if you can afford to do that. You made the right call there by just sporing into that slot just in case it does come in. Identifying that risk, because it was pretty much one of his only options. I mean, you could switch the Xerneas out there, but you risked the spore going into that slot, but you nailed it. You got it right. So with two Pokemon asleep, it just feels nearly impossible, especially with just an Incineroar in the back for Marty to come back from this. As you do see a side shock from the Awoken Tapu Lele after one turn of sleep, and Amoonguss is going to go down, but it does leave the Kyogre free to attack.
It was unfortunate, but I didn't mind it too much because the game's over.
100% now, I think. Like, even if the Xerneas wakes up this next turn, it's there's not really a lot you can do. And I mean, you've still got the option, even if you want it to prolong it, you can switch the Kyogre out, get it back in for the rain. but it just feels like you don't really need to do that now. You just need to water spout and attack into the Xerneas with Tapu Koko, I feel, and then that should be game, really. Oh, just protecting. Just don't want to take any fake out damage.
I didn't want to take the fake out, but
yeah,
it didn't really matter.
And just locking it in really for this next turn. So yeah, really nice.
I wasn't even taking risks with Origin Pulse this week.
Yeah, and it's probably smart as well, knowing what was on the line as well. So, but yeah, now the Xerneas does wake up, goes for a double protect, and gets it. Okay, so it does get it. But I mean, the water spout from the Kyogre is going to be more than enough to take down this Incineroar. We're just going to see Scald to just make sure. So even out of the rain, it is enough. And now the Xerneas is in just a position where it just can't come back from now. I think that turn that we identified earlier with the protect on the and doubling in on the Gastrodon in front of that Geomancy Xerneas was just the winning play of the tournament, my friend. And that means only one thing. That means you are our Sun Series 2019 Flinch Squad Circuit champion, and you are our first champion in this circuit, so massive congratulations to you. I cannot praise you enough for your plays, but this trophy that I'm showing on screen, I don't think you can see it because I'm not sharing this screen with you, but this trophy will be on its way to you with a Flinch Squad goodie bag and lots of other little bits within it that are going to be great. And just congratulations, my friend.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just massive props to everything you've done in this series. You've done so well. It's been a pleasure watching you and the other guys. So what we're going to do is now take a look at the results from week 7. As we can see, we got Nigel. He beat Johnny 2-0. We had Urine 2-0 versus Jace. We had Pokemati versus Will. We've just seen that match highlighted. So Will, you won that 2-0. So both players needing to pull out the 2-0 this week actually did pull out the 2-0, so massive props to both of you. We had Stu pulling out another big win there, 2-1 against Hectic VGC. We had, and I would have featured that match, but unfortunately when I was preparing these battle cards, the cards didn't work. But I will be recording every single match that I have from this circuit and uploading into a playlist, so that should be up soon, so you can go back through those and watch those at your own leisure. And I'll put a note up on Twitter and Facebook and all the social handles, so make sure you follow me on those to know when those go up. For the Sun Series, got Jace 0 and Pinko pulling out a win there, 2-0, and Johnny losing to 0 to Hectic. So Hectic picking up a big win there, which is big for him. So the results for week 7 are last week, and we can finally take a look at the league table. So you take it. Nigel second. Congratulations to Nigel. He's had such a good event and so close. Like, I feel a little bit for Nigel because I know what it's like.
I feel bad for Nigel.
Yeah, but Nigel's had a great tournament, and I'm sure he'll come back stronger in the Moon Series, as well as yourself. Hectic doing really well to secure that 3rd place spot. Urine doing really well. Congratulations to you. 4th place, the top 4 there, all getting prizes in this circuit. Then we've got Stu, and Stu just missing out on win difference, which is heartbreaking again, but Stu's had a really strong finish to this circuit, so massive props to Stu, as well as Johnny's had some great games, featured some great teams as well, so it's been a pleasure featuring some of Johnny's teams. Pinko pulling out a big win in our last week as well, so nice to see him getting off the mark. Pokemati, our newest player to the circuit and to the scene as well, doing really well, had an explosive start to this circuit, doing really well. And then Jace, who has unfortunately dropped out for unforeseen reasons, will hopefully be back soon, but finishing in last place in 9th. But yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, my friend. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, but I'm looking forward to the Moon Series kicking off, which will be on the 14th. That about does it, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. But for you guys at home, if you've watched this circuit and you want to get involved, the Moon Series is starting on the 14th of January. The closing date for sign-ups is going to be the 11th of January. So just visit patreon.com/Osirus Studios. You sign up for the Challenger tier, you get access to the Flinch Squad circuit, as well as loads of other goodies that are coming out. All the guides and things for the Moon Series will be starting next week. So you're not just getting entry into a tournament and the chance to win these lovely trophies. You get to play against players like Will, who we've just seen is top rated player in my opinion. And like I say, I think this trophy will not be sitting alone for very long. I think you've got many more trophies on its way to you, my friend. So I just want to say again, congratulations, and it's been a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been absolutely brilliant.
It has been brilliant. We'll have to do this again and get you on in the Moon.
Hopefully I can come back. Yeah,
100%. We'll get you on early Moon series. It'll be really good to get our current champ back on the channel sooner rather than later. So yeah, that is it, guys. So thank you, Will. Thank you to all of you at home watching. Hope you've enjoyed the Sun series. Leave your comments down below. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe. Lots of VGC content coming out as well as other stuff. So I'm just gonna sign off there. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon for the Moon series. So until then, guys, take care of yourselves. Will, thank you, and bye bye, guys. Bye.